If you believe in unseen operatives guarding this nation from the shadows, hit subscribe. This mission is for you. Rain poured over Washington, D.C., the kind that silences a city. Inside Langley, one light burned in a room lined with screens and static. A single figure sat there. Agent Cole Ward, codename 07. Cole wasn't supposed to exist. His name didn't appear on any document, payroll, or agency record. Only a select few inside the directorate knew his face. To everyone else, he was a rumor, a precision ghost trained for missions no one could ever admit happened. When the Twin Towers fell, Cole was already watching. He wasn't surprised. He'd seen chatter for weeks, encrypted transmissions, unmarked fund transfers, silent movement through global air routes. But his orders had been clear: observe, not interfere. That morning, as smoke rose above New York, his secure terminal blinked. A new file appeared. No sender, no metadata. Just 3 words typed in red. Follow the money. Cole leaned back. He'd been in enough black ops to know this wasn't a standard CIA transmission. The signature encryption belonged to Division X, a covert finance tracking cell that officially didn't exist after 1998. Someone had reactivated it. He opened the file. Inside were transfer logs, millions moved days before the attack, all routed through offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, Pakistan, and Zurich. Nothing unusual except one line, a deposit from a U.S. defense contractor under a CIA front shell. Cole's pulse slowed. It didn't make sense. He ran a trace. The IP trail looped through internal Langley servers, then disappeared. Someone inside the agency was covering their tracks. At 4:32 a.m., the door behind him clicked. A man in a black raincoat entered, Deputy Director Marcus Hale. Hale had handled Cole's mission since Bosnia. Calm, cold, always clean. You weren't supposed to open that file, Hale said. Cole kept his eyes on the screen. It was sent to my clearance. No, Hale replied, voice low. It was bait. Cole turned. For who? Hale didn't answer. He dropped a sealed envelope on the desk. Inside was a photo, a man in Hamburg, standing beside a satellite uplink van. The caption read, Asset 212, primary link. Find him, Hale said, before someone else does. As Hale walked away, Cole looked back at the monitors, live feeds of chaos, fire, and disbelief. His instincts screamed something bigger was in motion. This wasn't about one attack. It was about control. He powered down a terminal, grabbed his coat, and walked out of Langley into the rain. For the first time in years, he wasn't sure who the enemy was. 2 weeks later, Hamburg, Germany. The rain hadn't stopped since Langley. Cole Ward moved through the narrow streets under a black umbrella, every step measured, every reflection in the glass storefronts noted. He knew the routine. Paranoia kept him alive. The photo in his pocket, Asset 212, led him here. Name, Khalid Raymond. Telecommunications expert. Former contractor. Last seen working with a logistics firm that shipped equipment to war zones that didn't exist. Cole's local contact, a German intelligence officer named Lenz, met him at a quiet cafe near the harbor. Lenz was younger, nervous, always glancing at the door. He passed Cole a small envelope onto the table. Your man rented a warehouse in the docks, Lenz whispered. No paperwork, no ID, just cash. Cole nodded. You've been followed. Lenz swallowed hard. Everyone's being followed. That night, Cole reached the warehouse alone. No backup. Standard. He picked the lock, entered quietly. Inside, half darkness, half light. Rows of computers, power units humming, satellite receivers still warm. Someone had been there recently. He swept the room with his flashlight, beam steady, breath silent. Then he saw it, a wall covered with connection maps, flight routes, bank transfers, coded notes. One line stood out, Operation Northbridge. Before he could read more, a noise. Footsteps. 2 men speaking Arabic at the far end. Cole slipped behind a crate, listening. They mentioned a name, Langley. Then something colder. The American wanted the funds moved by September. Cole's grip tightened around his pistol. The words weren't random. They were orders. He stepped out fast, 3 controlled shots. Silence. Both targets down. He searched their pockets. One had a CIA contractor badge, burned at the edges. Cole froze. Why would a CIA asset be running with foreign operatives in a covert signal hub? He found a flash drive taped under a desk, labeled only with the date, September 11th, 01. He pocketed it, exited into the rain, and made the call to Lens. Tell your boss to delete this location. It never existed. By dawn, Cole was in a safe house across the city, drive decrypted on an isolated laptop. Inside, surveillance records, payment ledgers, and audio clips from encrypted channels. One stood out. Phase completed. Proceed with collapse narrative. Authorization code, Echo 5. Cole rewound the audio 3 times. The voice belonged to someone he knew, Martin Voss, senior encryption officer at Langley. That wasn't possible. Voss was internal security. His clearance ranked above Cole's. Cole shut the laptop, pulse steady. He'd stumbled into something buried deep, crossfire of money, power, and internal betrayal. He called Langley. No answer. Then, his encrypted account access revoked. Cole stared at the screen. They were cutting him off. For the first time, the hunter realized he was now the target. 3 days after Hamburg, Cole Ward was off the grid. His CIA access was revoked. His ID flagged inactive. His handler, Deputy Director Marcus Hale, had gone silent. Phones dead, offices cleared. Every contact number Cole tried rerouted to voicemail or disconnect tones. That meant one thing: Langley had burned him. He moved through Europe under different names, safe houses changing every 48 hours. His reflection in mirrors looked older now, unshaven, eyes wired but exhausted. The kind of fatigue that didn't come from lack of sleep, but from knowing your own government had just erased you. He watched the news replay the same headlines: retaliation, war on terror, justice. All noise. He had the real story sitting on a single flash drive taped inside the lining of his boot. The data from Hamburg proved internal movement of funds tied to Operation Northbridge, a black-budget program that didn't appear in any CIA archive. But Cole knew how they hid things. Rename, reroute, bury under fake counterterrorism initiatives. He had seen this once before. 1993, a failed mission in Sarajevo. Same pattern, same silence. Now it was happening again, only bigger. One night, in a safe house outside Warsaw, he opened an encrypted communication line using an old Cold War relay frequency. The signal bounced through 6 continents before hitting a response. Identify, a mechanical voice demanded. 07, Cole said. Shadow line, red clearance. Static. Then a faint reply. You shouldn't be talking. I'm already dead on paper, he said. Tell me who authorized Northbridge. Long silence. Then, you're chasing ghosts, Cole. The money trail leads back to your own agency and something bigger. Black Wave Security. Find them before they find you. The line went dead. He looked up the name. Black Wave Security Group. Officially a private defense contractor. In reality, a CIA shadow unit formed to manage off-record operations overseas. Their funding matched the same offshore accounts he'd seen tied to 9/11 prep funds. It hit him. Langley wasn't trying to hide foreign terrorists. They were burying their own fingerprints. Cole boarded a train under an alias. Destination Prague, where Blackwave's European office supposedly handled logistics. He traveled light, one backpack, a forged passport, and a silenced Saiji sour. By the time he reached the city, 2 agents were already waiting at his hotel. They didn't flash badges. Just eyes that said, "We know who you are." Cole didn't wait. He moved. Down the stairs, through the kitchen, out the fire exit. A bullet cracked the concrete by his head. He didn't look back. When he reached the alley, he stopped only to catch his breath. Somewhere behind him, a man spoke into a radio. Asset located. Terminate on site. Cole realized something chilling. This wasn't an internal cleanup. It was a sanctioned kill order. From now on, there were no friends, no flags, only survival. He whispered to himself, if Langley wants a ghost, they'll get one. And he vanished into the rain. Night. Prague. A quiet city with too many secrets. Cole Ward moved through the back streets like smoke, untraceable, unseen. He had one goal now. Get inside Black Wave Security's local operations hub, extract proof, and disappear before the CIA could erase him permanently. He'd done hundreds of infiltrations, but never while hunted by his own agency. That changed everything. At 2:10, he reached the perimeter, an old warehouse posing as a logistics firm. 2 guards patrolled outside. Thermal vision showed 4 more inside. Cole crouched behind a wall, checked his watch, and synchronized with the internal camera loop. 5 seconds of blackout. That was all he needed. He moved. Fast, silent. 2 suppressed shots. Both guards dropped without a sound. Inside, the air was cold, humming with servers and faint radio chatter. Cole slipped between aisles of crates until he found a reinforced door with biometric access. He placed a scanner against the lock, a handheld decryptor from his own kit, military issue but unregistered. It clicked open in 9 seconds. Behind the door, a data room. Rows of drives blinking blue, cables tangled like veins. He hooked his portable decryptor into the mainframe. The system recognized him, not as Cole Ward, but as Martin Voss. Someone had cloned his superior's credentials into the system. They were expecting him. Smart, he muttered. Too smart. The files began downloading. Gigabytes of transactions, operations, and encrypted emails. He scanned the headers, U.S. defense accounts, offshore shells, and project names disguised under code words. One folder stood out, Eagle Reset/2001. He opened it. Inside were communications between senior CIA officials and private defense executives weeks before September 11th, orders discussing controlled narrative shaping, operational justification, and budget expansion via global mobilization. His jaw tightened. The attacks hadn't just been exploited, they had been anticipated. Suddenly, footsteps. Cole unplugged the drive, shoved it into his vest pocket, and killed the terminal's power. The door swung open. 4 men entered armed. Black Wave operatives. Not amateurs. Cole fired once, dug behind a server rack, reloaded. Bullets tore through metal. Sparks filled the room. He moved fast. 3 controlled bursts. 2 men down. 1 more tried to flank him. Cole caught him with a knife to the throat. Silence returned, broken only by the faint beeping of a failing hard drive. He stepped over the bodies, reloaded calmly. His breathing was slow, trained. He'd done this before. Outside, rain hammered the pavement. Cole exited through the back, blending into the alleys before the next patrol arrived. The flash drive burned cold in his pocket, proof of everything. By dawn, he was already across the border, heading toward Vienna under a new name. He didn't look back, but he knew what the files meant. The truth was no longer buried overseas. It was buried inside Langley. And now that he had proof, everyone would be coming for him. Vienna. Cold morning. The kind that keeps the streets quiet and the lies louder. Cole Ward sat inside a rundown apartment 2 floors above a bakery. Curtains drawn. Laptop connected through an encrypted relay. The flash drive he stole from Black Wave Security lay on the table beside his gun and a half-drunk cup of coffee gone cold. He hadn't slept in 30 hours. Each time he closed his eyes, he saw the same thing, the words Eagle Reset/2001 flashing on the screen and the names underneath it. Marcus Hale, Martin Voss, and a third one redacted, directorate-level authorization. He needed help decoding the deeper layers of encryption. This wasn't standard CIA cipher work. It used a dual-key quantum pattern, something reserved for the National Security Agency. There was only one person who could break it, Dr. Sarah Lyman, a retired NSA cryptologist who once worked with Cole on a covert intercept program in the Gulf. She owed him her life. He found her in Nevada, living alone on the outskirts of Reno, off the grid. She didn't answer his first message, or the second. So Cole did what he always did, showed up. The desert night was quiet when he arrived. Her cabin sat under an open sky filled with static stars. She opened the door before he could knock. "Didn't think I'd see you again," she said. "You won't after this," Cole replied. Inside, he placed the flash drive on her table. "I need it decrypted." No network, no trace. Sarah looked at it like it was radioactive. "Where did you get this?" "From a ghost facility in Prague. Black Wave Security." Her face went pale. "Cole, Black Wave doesn't work for the agency. They own parts of it. Then let's see what they're hiding." They worked through the night, air thick with tension and static hums of old servers. Sarah's hand shook as she typed. "This encryption is nested. Whoever wrote it didn't want it read by anyone, not even Langley." An hour passed. Then the code cracked open. A stream of documents filled the screen. redacted memos, budget authorizations, meeting summaries. Then came the audio files. Cole pressed play. Voice 1, male, calm, deep, phase 1 complete. The assets are in place. The market will respond within hours. Voice 2, female civilian casualties. Voice 1, collateral justification. We need the fear to pass legislation. Sarah froze. Cole, that's not Arabic. That's American English. He rewound, analyzed the waveform. The voice. Sarah interrupted, whispering, it's Hale. Marcus Hale. Cole felt his stomach tighten. His handler. The man who'd given him every order, every assignment, every clearance. He leaned back slowly, processing it. He ran the mission. Sarah nodded. No. He authorized it. Cole stared at the flickering monitor. Then who gave him the order? Sarah scrolled through the last decoded file, a meeting memo dated August 28, 2001. The sender line was blank. The recipient list, 3 people, Hale, Voss, and Project Director/Executive Authorization, Eagle 1. She whispered, Cole, that means the directive came from the top. Not a department head. Not an officer. Cole didn't answer. He already knew what that meant. It came from a level above Langley itself. Political. Untouchable. Sarah looked at him. What are you going to do with this? He loaded the data onto a new drive, burned the original. Survive long enough to tell someone who'll listen. Who? She asked. Cole stood, holstered his gun. Anyone who still believes in the flag for the right reasons. As he walked toward the door, she stopped him. Cole, if you go after them, you'll disappear. He turned back, eyes calm but heavy. I already did. Outside, the wind howled across the desert. Cole climbed into an old Jeep and drove into the night. Behind him, Sarah watched the dust fade. She looked back at her screen, a single unread file still open. The title read, Operation Reset, Post 9/11 Agenda/Phase 2, Internal Containment. And beneath it, one line of text flickered in red. Priority target, C. Ward. The desert wind hit like a knife, dry, endless, and full of ghosts. Cole Ward drove for hours across Nevada, headlights cutting through the dark. The flash drive rested in his jacket pocket, warm against his chest like a loaded weapon. Inside it, every file, every voice, every truth that wasn't supposed to exist. He had 2 options, vanish or expose it. But exposing it meant death. He knew the agency. They'd bury this faster than a body in Arlington. Every news outlet they didn't control, they owned by influence. Every reporter that they couldn't buy, they silenced. Still, Cole had one advantage. He knew how they worked because he'd been one of them. He reached an abandoned airstrip just outside Tonopah at dawn. He parked the Jeep, killed the lights, and waited. From the horizon, a black SUV appeared, engine low, windows tinted. He'd sent a one-line message to his only remaining contact, a former journalist named Evan Cross, now living under witness protection. The SUV stopped 20 feet away. Evan stepped out, hands up. You're out of your mind meeting me like this. Cole smirked faintly. You said you wanted a story that mattered. I said that 10 years ago, Evan replied. Now I just want to stay alive. Cole tossed him the drive. This will make sure you don't. Evan caught it, looked down. What is this? Proof that the war everyone bled for started inside our own walls. Evan stared, silent. Then he whispered, You're saying 9/11 wasn't. I'm saying it wasn't just foreign hands, Cole cut in. They used the attack to reset global systems, economy, surveillance, military dominance. I traced every transfer. It all goes back to Langley and Blackwave. Evan looked at him, disbelief fighting fear. You expect me to print this? Cole shrugged. I expect you to survive long enough to try. A faint buzz interrupted them, the sound of drones. Cole's head tilted up. 2 small surveillance units hovered at high altitude, scanning. Too late, he said quietly. He handed Evan a second flash drive. Backup. Encrypted. If I don't make it, release it everywhere. Forums. Leaks. Doesn't matter how. Evan's voice shook. Cole, what about you? I'll buy you time. He walked toward the Jeep, calm, steady. As he reached for the ignition, a missile strike hit the tarmac, shockwave throwing dirt and flame across the field. The SUV flipped. Evan's body rolled, still clutching the drive. Cole staggered up, blood in his mouth, gun in hand. Another drone locked on. He ran toward the hangar, instincts taking over. He fired 3 shots, hitting the drone's sensor. It spiraled down, crashing into the sand. A Black Ops team was closing in. 4 men, heavy armor, silencers. No insignia. Cole dropped one with a headshot, then ducked behind a steel barrel. Bullets ripped through the walls. He moved low, fast, every motion precise. He trained for this 1,000 times, but never with the knowledge that his own country was behind the trigger. When the last man fell, Cole was hit, shoulder, grazing. He pressed his hand to the wound and looked toward the horizon. The sun was rising, painting the desert gold. He limped to Evan's body, checked his pulse, gone. But the flash drive was missing. Cole smiled faintly. Good. He did it. He looked toward the highway. A dust trail, a single car moving fast. Someone had picked up the story. Someone else was still alive. He sat on the cracked concrete, blood running down his arm, breathing slow. The radio in one of the downed soldiers' helmets crackled. Target confirmed. Termination incomplete. Secondary team en route. Cole turned off the radio, whispered to himself, "You'll have to do better." Then he pulled a small device from his belt. Satellite transmitter, last of its kind. He typed a single line. To unknown / from C.Ward, still watching. He pressed send. The message bounced through dark channels, across satellites, into servers no one could trace. It would reach the ones who still believed the truth mattered. By nightfall, Cole was gone. No recovery team found him. No body, no signal, no record. Langley classified his file, labeled black, non-existent. Weeks later, across encrypted networks, fragments of data began appearing. Transaction logs, audio clips, redacted memos, each signed with the same signature, CW. Panic spread quietly through the system. Cyber units tried tracing the leaks. Every attempt led to dead ends, false IPs, ghost routers. Whoever was sending the data knew their playbook, because it was written by him. Months later, a CIA analyst opened a classified terminal. A message sat waiting. No origin tag, timestamp reset. Subject, Eagle reset. Message, you can't bury truth under patriotism. The analyst froze, then deleted it. But by then, it didn't matter. The files had already spread. And somewhere in the desert, or maybe beyond it, Cole Ward still moved between shadows, invisible, unacknowledged, but watching. He no longer worked for the flag. He worked for the truth. No medals, no name, no peace. Just silence, the kind only ghosts earn. If this story made you proud to stand for something bigger than yourself, leave a like and comment where you're watching from. Real heroes don't wear capes, they wear clearance.